Welcome to Wrestling Without... Man.
Ah! Oh no!
Yeah,
We've started!
just came out with a ball of energy and just completely fell right. It's like Danny Bateman in The Replacements, just tripping over the wire and tackling a cheerleader or something. Yeah, that's me. This is not my A game today, folks. Let's try that again. Welcome to the Wrestling Without Context podcast.
I'm Ryan.
I'm sorry for those of you at home. This is all staying in. This is awesome. Join me, Sean, a lifelong wrestling fan, as I talk to my friend. You've already heard from him. His name is
Brian.
A complete unknown to the world of sports entertainment on a thrilling journey into the world of professional wrestling. With no prior knowledge or context, Brian experiences the magic, drama, and unforgettable moments of wrestling for the first time. Join them as they navigate through the world of larger-than-life characters, jaw-dropping feats, and stories that make wrestling an unforgettable experience. Hello to everybody that's joining us for episode 4 of the Wrestling Without Context podcast. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, the way the show works is prior to recording our episode, Brian and I watch a match or matches that Brian has never seen before, and then we also watch something what I'll call wrestling adjacent. It's usually a segment, but we're going to do something a little different this episode. More on that later. And afterwards, we hit record on a podcast and we talk about it with all of you.
We talk shop.
Yeah, exactly. Talking shop. Because that's what the world needs. Another podcast. What was that line? It's The Witcher 3, the world doesn't need another hero. Or something like that. I don't know.
Never got through The Witcher 3.
Yeah, I've started it multiple times. Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna get comments.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Oh my god. I did go all the way through Way of Kings, which is their second one. I had to do the strategy guide thing where I'm holding it open going, this decision does this. So
okay.
just so I could get the best ending. So
nice.
Yeah. So, nice.
Do you remember when we used to buy these strategy guides and I loved them? Because like at first I didn't have video games growing up, so I would just buy the strategy guides because I couldn't play them, and I was like, oh, I'm playing it in my mind. Whoa!
It's just as bad as me buying the Scholastic books of movies that I had seen. I can't like the
novelization of The Godfather, based on the book The Godfather.
But no, it's like kids movies or stuff like that. Because I was like in the 4th or 5th grade and stuff like that. Oh God, where were used to buy strategy guys? I still buy them. I bought it for Cyberpunk because I bought everything for
amazing.
Cyberpunk, and then great game now.
And then it couldn't run.
Yeah, no, yeah, oh God, what do they call them? Something runners or something.
Netrunners.
I was going to call them Maze Runners, but I know that's a young adult novel. So no.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so the Netrunners couldn't run, but that is a game I actually have beaten. Very fun game.
I got to the last mission and I didn't finish it. I don't know why.
It ends in a weird spot, because I knew DLC was coming up. Like, how do you end this?
Oh, I played the DLC. The DLC was really good.
Yes, but however, this is not the video game Wrestling Without podcast. But I'm sure we're going to keep talking about this as we move forward. This is the Wrestling Without Context podcast. So again, this is episode 4. Brian, for the last episode, I was about to call it WrestleMania 3, but it was episode 3, WrestleMania 3. Things you don't think about as you're recording it. How do you feel about WrestleMania 3?
I feel just the same as I felt
yeah,
last
I feel like
you just said did you see the look of panic on my face when you're like what do you remember about last time? And I had to pull out my notebook to be like, oh my god, what did we watch last time? I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. So I may cut this segment because I feel like I'm just ambushing you. Like, did you have... It's been 2 weeks. Have you thought about this at all? Do you think about me?
I'll be completely honest with you. I have not thought a single thought about WrestleMania 3.
See, that's fine. That's perfectly all right. But I did see you get wide eyed, and then I saw you like off camera, like hitting the pages, going, "Oh my god, what?"
Go back to it. What did I write down?
Yes. Speaking of, for those of you that are listening, episode 3 dropped in a full video format where you got to see myself and Brian's wonderful faces. We finally got that up and running. So please join us on our YouTube channel. It is Wrestling Without Context on YouTube. We have some fun shorts, and we also post a podcast there. You can also find this podcast wherever you find your podcast, on the ground, in a newspaper, on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. So give us a follow, give us a listen, give us a nice little like, give us a 5-star review if that's your thing. Give us a nice little review, and I don't know, maybe I'll give you a shout out. I don't know what that's worth, but hey, have our.
We'll read them. I promise.
Yeah, I know. We will read them. We will post them. We will repost them, and so yeah, WrestleMania 3. As we were recording this, WrestleMania just happened 2 weekends ago. God,
Who won? Did someone win?
A lot of people won.
There's not like one winner of WrestleMania.
Well, there's multiple nights. It's not like a tournament, Brian. It's not like Bloodsport. John Cena did win and is now his 17th world championship. That is the most world championships ever. He beat out Ric Flair. Yes.
That's him.
Oh my God, Brian, where did you go? I couldn't see you.
I know a wrestling thing.
Yeah, I know. For when Brian and I started this, he's like, "When do we get to watch anything with the guy from Drax and Peacemaker?" I know those guys. I know they're wrestlers. I only know them as actors. So we were talking about it, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. And to be perfectly frank with you, I have struggled to get through all of WrestleMania. I made it to the Logan Paul AJ Styles match, which is night 2, and I think there's 2 more matches after that. And it's just I just don't have the time or the patience. It was like there was multiple ads. There was like a Doom Dark Ages like promo in the mid, like where people were like they had like a huge statue of the Doom Slayer. It was just like every match had their own like little promo or little promotion. So it was just a little much to take. And I've just been busy. Like I talk about hour and 20-minute wrestling shows. I've been able to watch anything. I'm behind on AEW.
Yeah. What else have you been watching?
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Brian, for teeing me up on that one.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's like a partnership. No, so like I just haven't had time to watch anything. I've actually had very little time. I sat down and I watched Andor. That was very fun. Not fun in the sense I'm like jumping for joy that, oh my God, this makes me feel so good. I mean, it's just so depressing. It's like what?
Yeah, it's like it's like down to earth Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is very Rogue One-ish. However, as Brian and I were talking before the podcast, we hit record. These 3-episode arcs, I feel like you could cut out some of the fluff in them. Like it just feels like they're sort of stalling, or like maybe in the next 3 episodes it'll get a little better. I've only seen the first 3. It's like we're doing an Andor scene, now we're doing a Mon Mothma scene, now we're doing a Deidre scene.
But I just read a report that Andor just pulled in like $300 million of revenue, though. Like everybody is watching this show.
I don't know how they judge that because, like, is that just based on new subscriptions?
I think it's based on new subscriptions, maybe current subscription of the month or whatever it is. I don't know.
It is a fantastic show. It is one of their most well produced, like the whole prison sequence.
Oh my gosh!
Like those couple episodes with Andy Serkis. Hopefully, he comes back this year. But no, like Star Wars is so hit and miss with me lately. Marvel, I've kind of fallen off a cliff. I haven't watched anything. Thunderbolts just came out. I immediately there was a YouTube clip where I saw the.
No, did you see the fight? Did you see the end credit scene?
Yeah.
Why did you watch it? Why did you click on the button? You could say, "Oh, I'm not gonna click on it," but why did you click on it?
Brian, I don't got time for this. I got a kid.
It's not like it auto plays.
I just saw it because it was like a quick 40-minute clip, and I knew what it was going to be immediately.
Oh, I saw the movie. Movie was great. I loved it.
Yeah. So for those of you that haven't, I won't spoil it, but like I could have not seen it and predicted what was going to happen. With the way everything's going right now.
So good. So
Yeah.
good.
Speaking of, I don't know how I'm going to feel about Fantastic Four. I go back and forth whether I'm going to like it or not. It feels very.
I am pumped. I am optimistically excited for it.
Yes.
Fantastic Four was my first comic book that I ever read. It was Barnes and Noble at the time. They released like these 10-volume, starting with like the very first issue, and it was the first comic book I read. I'm so pumped for it.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because like they're Marvel's. I think they're called Marvel's first family, basically. Like them and X-Men, I feel like are sort of the basis and the crux of Marvel, and the whole Marvel universe couldn't started without them, and so it's like they're trying to weave them back in and give them a little bit of gravity. There is some fan casting of making Miles Teller. I can't remember. Yes, of wearing the helmet. Basically, I was like, oh, that'd actually be very awesome. So, but no, like they had Galactus in the original Rise of the Silver movie, and they turned him into a space cloud. So I was like, they. So
yeah, but we saw a boot. We saw his boot in the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I feel like he should be bigger. I mean, it's actually kind of fitting that we're talking about this, considering what we eventually are going to be talking about. Like,
we watched big monsters destroying cities today.
Exactly. So, all right. So yeah, let's get into it. Enough chit chat. So we. Again, Brian actually came up with this idea. He texted me before the WrestleMania 3 episode going, hey, have you heard of Big Battle, Big Kaiju Big Battle? Kaiju
Big Battel.
Yes. And I'm like, I've heard of them, and I couldn't remember where I've heard of them before. And then as I've done more research, like, oh, yes, I actually have heard of these people. So I asked Brian if he'd like to watch them. He said yes. And so we jumped straight in. This is something I actually had never seen before.
And then I asked for my little treat that I knew a little wrestling fact, and then I got it, and I felt like such a good boy.
Yeah, Pavlov's dog and Brian's in. I hit a wrist. I hit a ring bell, and Brian just spits out a fact. So I kind of did a little bit of research. I didn't want to do too much, to spoil it for myself. So you can actually find most of their shows on their website if you go to just watch Kaiju Big Battel. I just clicked on the first one. Their last show was it was entitled Spadoinkle Mania. It happened on April 20th in 2020, in the year of our Lord 2025. So yes, it was April 20th, 2025, in I want to say Brooklyn, New York. So the show opens. It looks like a ballroom. There's like a big chandelier. It looks like some kind of a theater space. Something Brian and I both know pretty well. That was my first thing. It's like, oh, this is like every show I've ever done in the city of Chicago.
Welcome to a black box theater.
Exactly. There's like people up on a stage. There's people around, just kind of standing around with drinks in their hands, and then like just some very makeshift barriers. And then in the center, there is a ring set up with a bunch of makeshift smaller buildings that are made out of cardboard. So it looks like a little bit, I think they call it a city regulation sized ring.
Amazing.
Yes. So the two announcers come out, which I didn't know how I was going to feel about the announcers. They were a little much to take in at first, but
they had a personality.
Yes.
Clibo and Vinny Deluxe.
Yes. So I will say this, and this is going to be a running theme, is I feel like this is something I would enjoy more in person than I did. I still enjoyed it, but like watching it, I was like, I'm not saying I need to be inebriated for it, but like there's sort of that feeling that you get when you're around other people, and it's like, yes,
the energy of the room, right? Everyone's feeding off each other,
and that's obviously what they were doing. Everyone was excited to be there. So yeah, and then they make a rundown of the show, and then we have the first match of the show, which is an Australian rules match. Brian, do you want to explain what an Australian rules match is?
Yeah. Okay. So Australians rules match. Found out that it is upside down rules. So to win the match, you have to pin the other person on their belly opposed to on their back, because it's down under.
Yes. when I first heard it, so spoiler alert, I watched a little bit of this match before just to see what it was before. I was like, is this something we could watch? And I wasn't really paying attention. And then I saw them trying to do it. I'm like, why are they doing that? And then the announcers do say that it's like, oh, it's Australian rules match. They got to pit them on their belly. I'm like, oh, that's actually very clever. And I'm
Is that a real thing, or is that something that they made up for their show, or like is this a because obviously you said you hadn't heard of it before.
No, it feels like something that they made up.
Okay.
The ref that eventually comes out for the match comes out to as we noticed, I come from a land down under. His name is Referee Dundee. I don't know if that's actually his name.
I hope so, man.
Yes.
To find a referee named Dundee for the Australian rules, that's just peak.
Yes. So it would have been even funnier if he came from under the ring. Yeah. So again, yeah, -1 star for missing out on that one. So
what were they saying about the ring being shorter? They were saying the ring was being shorter than normal.
I think it's because of the height of the ceiling. They couldn't raise the ring up, so I feel like they just kind of put it on a small little platform. Because usually, they got that ring apron where it's like almost like chest level. Okay. So no, the first match was Tiki Gorilla. Was that his name?
Tiki Rilla.
Tiki Rilla, okay. And Brian, if you'd like to explain to the audience what
Tiki Rilla is the bad guy, everyone. He was the bad guy of the match. And he comes out, he has a tiki torch in hand, he has his red hat on, they called him the patriotic ape. So like
no, the patriotic primate.
The patriotic primate. So like he is here, he is ready to F some stuff up.
Yes, and again, something I missed when he came out, I was like, oh, I didn't notice the red hat, the pants, or the tiki torch. I was like, oh, he's carrying a tiki torch. And then he went, oh, he's wearing a red hat too. It's like, oh, so I know exactly what they're saying with this character.
Who is this guy?
Exactly. In 2025, who is this guy? And then he faced his nemesis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Kung Fu Noodle.
Kung Fu Chicken Noodle.
Oh, Kung Fu Chicken Noodle. See, there you go.
Oh, man.
My
hero.
Yes, who is just basically a gigantic can of chicken noodle soup. And as we were commenting, it looks like it was just a chicken noodle soup can where arms just popped right out. Like it just became sentient and grew legs and arms. And so
that's a spicy chicken noodle soup. That's
Chef Boyardee, Bry. That's a spicy meatball. I was surprised there was no chicken noodle soup for the soul.
Only if he died.
Oh God, Jesus Christ, got dark. So we were also trying to figure out after the match. We couldn't tell if he was wearing a karate gi or not because his outfit was just.
He had a long shirt.
Yeah, it looked like I was like, is he wearing a suit under that? It doesn't seem practical to be wrestling in that thing. But then again, I don't know if it's practical for a can of noodle soup to be Kung Fu noodle soup.
No, yeah, not practical.
Yes, so the match starts, and Brian and I were convinced that both wrestlers could not see.
Yeah, at least for sure, Kung Fu Chicken Noodle could not see. Like he was feeling around for the ring and stuff.
Yes, and it seems like they were communicating to him about where things were because there were definitely moments where they just completely missed either their punches. And I'm also convinced that Tiki Gorilla could not also see.
Yeah, his mask kept falling off.
Yeah, and. Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like the match started and it's like his mask. I couldn't tell if that was a bit because obviously. So like to take the bird's eye view, thousand yard stare. I don't know. To pull it back, these matches are not supposed to be 5-star wrestling matches or high flying spectacular. Like we watched Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat last week. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. These guys are not. It is supposed to be based around. Like those big bad Godzilla movies that we would see, where it's obviously people in rubber suits just kind of mashing around in the middle of a city, throwing buildings at one another.
That's I grew up watching the Power Rangers, man. Those are my kaijus right there.
Yes, so that is immediately what I thought of when I first saw this and saw some of the characters. I'm like, oh, this is very Power Rangers,
Uh-huh.
because that's like one of my favorite things is the guy that created that show like went to Japan, or I think it was Japan, and he saw like that show and it's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it was a popular show in the 70s. It's like, can I buy the rights? Sure. And he just bought them and then just turned a teenager show into it.
I used to religiously watch the Power Rangers, and this was back when like if you missed an episode, you could like VCR it.
Oh no, yeah, that was me
And
back in the day.
yeah, and I was so invested that when the original Power Rangers ended, like their season finale, I like wept. I was so sad, not knowing that. Oh, guess what? This is gonna run forever.
Yes, and like the thing is, like the first season is like 50 episodes.
It is.
Like you go back and watch, like I remember it was on Netflix for a while. I was like, oh my god, there's a bunch of these episodes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I used to watch a lot of Power Ranger spin-offs as well. Like knockoff Power Ranger shows. And there was one that used to be called Big Bad Beetleborgs. Do you know
Oh no,
about
that's exactly what popped in my brain when you said it. Big Bang Beetleborgs. Yeah, no.
I've tried to watch it on YouTube. It's awful.
Yeah, I know.
It's so bad. And I can't even get through like 3 minutes of it anymore.
So there was that. There was VR Troopers.
VR Troopers.
There was one that I remember that no one can ever seem to remember. It had Matthew Lawrence. It was called like Super Samurai Squad.
Okay.
It was a fantastic show. It was like basically like they would go inside computers and they would look like ultra.
Oh, okay.
It was basically the same concept as like the same kind of fighting style
Okay.
as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But yeah, like that was the big thing back in the day.
Do you remember this one based on Irish mythology? It's called The Mystic Knights of Tirnanog.
The name sounds slightly familiar.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I know. So no, like us watching this, obviously it hit us in the nostalgia strings of like, oh, this is the things we would watch when we were kids. This,
Also hit in the nostalgia of I could have seen myself doing that for like fight night. We used to do fight night in Chicago, and like
yeah, so
that would have been like a skit that we could have put on.
we talked about this as we were watching. I was like, I'm so upset I never thought of this before. Because like it's just such an easy concept to do. And like there's so much lore behind all of this. So for those of you that don't know, Kaiju Big Battel is a modern conflict of epic proportions. Planet Earth is under the threat scattered through the galaxy as a monstrous mob of maniacal villains, menacing alien beasts, and giant city-crushing monsters waging war against one another since the dawn of time. Presiding over this mayhem is the Kaiju Commissioner, a former announcer turned Hollywood playboy appointed by a clandestine cadre of world leaders to replace Kaiju Rage. If the Kaiju Commissioner doesn't do his job perfectly, the entire world could get caught in the crossfire. In the midst of all this is Dr. Cube, a disgraced former plastic surgeon whose evil genius is the catalyst behind many of the Kaiju Big Battel's evil creatures. The Kaiju universe currently maintains an active roster of approximately 30 monsters, including the Bear Burger hybrid, Burger Bear, a factory worker turned soup can, who we just saw, Kung Fu Chicken Noodle, a dirty hair sage dubbed Dusto Bunny. That is weird. And champion intergalactic party Animal Unicorn Party. In addition to the Kaiju Commissioner, a few other privileged humans also get a piece of the action, including referee. You call that a Knife Dundee, so that is his name.
Okay.
Who quit a prestigious career refereeing kangaroo boxing to enforce fairness and civility in the Kaiju Big Ring. So that's like their little spiel. You can find that on their YouTube page. And then let's go over the roster of Kaiju Big Battel before we talk about the other matches. So we have their Kaiju heroes. So we have American Beetle, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Burger Bear, who is a hybrid of a burger and a bear. Dusto Bunny, who is a gigantic dust bunny. French Toast, who is a giant, it looks like just a giant waffle. Japan Droid, who's a robot. Kung Fu Chicken Noodle. Paco Plantain and Pedro Plantain, who are plantains with mustaches.
Amazing. That's so good.
Pawa Ranjuru, Roblox, who is just, I'm sure that's supposed to be like Roblox, but it's just a box. Silver Potato, Steamed Power Tentacle Boulder. I love this one. Super Wrong.
I am super wrong.
Yeah, I want to see if it has a bio. It does. So
Please read me about Super Wrong.
Yeah, it's like 6 paragraphs. You can see it on your own. And then
I'll watch it on my own.
And then to cap it off, it is Unicorn Party, and so these are now these are the villains. This is Dr. Cube's posse. So obviously we have Dr. Cube, we have Bear Ranger, who looks exactly like the Yellow Ranger with a motorcycle helmet. Choker, Durano, Ergenon 2. I wonder if there was an Ergenon 1. Erebus, Gomni Man, Gowanus Creature, Hell Monkey, Meryl Skeeter, the Minions, Monger King, Super Minion 96, 13, Tiki Rilla, and Tukor, who is looks like a toucan. And then these are listed as rogues. I'm not sure who they are. Oh, that's who we saw. Double Unicorn Dark.
Double Unicorn Dark. I called him a binacorn.
Yes, so we will talk about him in a bit. So we have DW Cycloctopus the third, Gambling Bug, Hunanaut, Is Kinder, Midori 2000, Pink Bear, Scab, who is just literally a giant scab, Sky Deviler, Unibuzo, Buzo, and Velfor, and Yarsemenko.
But like, this is a legit company. Like
yes, they do
have
tour.
Lore, they tour. Like, this is crazy. I love it.
Yeah, so like that's one of the things that as I was doing my very small amount of research on this, they've kind of built everything out. Like there's a couple of comics you can buy on their website. They've been going since this company started in 1990. Technically 1994. They did like some random live shows, and eventually it's just gotten bigger and bigger. They worked TwitchCon in 2017, I think is what it said.
Okay.
But like you can buy like some of their action figures. Obviously, they got a big YouTube following, and also Brian, I know we talked about video games to start, but did you know that Kaiju Big Battel has a video game on Steam?
I did not.
So,
I am going to play it.
Yes, so it is called Kaiju Big Battel Phyto Fantasy.
Amazing.
It released on October 31st, 2018. It was released on PC, and from what little I watched of it, it's supposed to be. I thought it looked more like some of the old Pokemon games where you're kind of just walking around,
Okay.
And then like you encounter people, you fight people. But it's supposed to be not a ripoff, but it's supposed to be like Final Fantasy, like the older Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay, so it's like a turn-based. It's not like a Mortal Kombat or anything.
No, nothing like that. It's definitely like an RPG.
Okay, cool.
Like an old school JRPG.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that want to hear more about that, please check out our friends over at the Game Marks podcast. They did an episode on Kaiju Big Battel back in July of 2024. So please check our friends out over at the Game Marks podcast. It's something that I need to stay away from because as someone like as soon as I find out like there's a series of anything, like I'll never forget when I first saw the first trailer for Game of Thrones, and it was really like I think it was just a raven like going through the woods or something like that, and I was like, oh, I don't know what this is, and someone was like, oh, it's a book series. I went out and bought all the books. I didn't know if I was going to like them, didn't like them, but then I was like all about Game of Thrones, and I just read I love anything lore oriented where it sort of builds a universe.
So you will deep dive into this universe if I don't keep you away from it.
Exactly. Like I'll try and go back just to try and find like the original episodes just to like figure everything out.
Okay.
Because I love world building. It's where you get to be creative and do all this sort of fun stuff. And obviously from what we saw, like they put a lot of thought into it. There's a lot of props. At one point for the match that we watched, Tiki Rilla brought out a can opener.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, so like jumping back into the match, so they sort of go back and forth a little bit. And eventually one of the announcers gets pulled in the ring. He gets pulled back out. But as the ref is distracted, Tiki Rilla brings out a gigantic can opener that has been built by obviously a very wonderful props master who probably has a ton of fun building the cardboard buildings that they throw at each other during the match.
They smash them over the referee. They smash them over each other.
They smash them into each other. They smash into them. It's a lot of fun. But that can opener is literally just, I can't tell if it's literally just cardboard, but it looks fantastic as
it looks great.
Yeah, as Tiki Rilla tries to bust open Kung Fu Chicken
Kung Fu
Noodle,
Chicken Noodle.
and eventually Kung Fu Chicken Noodle gets it back. He hits he
I thought
hits
he was gonna like decapitate him. Like he had it around his neck and he was ready to go.
yeah, he's like, oh my god, is he gonna die? I'm like, I don't know. There's kids at this show.
Oh man, yeah.
So he eventually hits him with it, and Tiki Rilla falls onto the ground. And then Kung Fu Chicken Noodle eventually makes his way, like without being able to see, makes his way to the top rope. And,
The way he climbed that rope, I was so impressed because he couldn't see.
Yeah, so it made me think of a match that I'm sure we'll see at some point, where there is a blindfold match between two wrestlers, where they're sort of trying to feel each other out and stuff like that. But no, I don't want to spoil like how one of the wrestlers figures out where the other guy is, but he uses the crowd to figure it out. I mean, I kind of just spoiled it for you. Exactly. Exactly. So, but there's obviously people helping him, and like you can kind of hear the ref being like, "Hey, you need help?" So Kung Fu Chicken Noodle eventually gets to the top rope and hits his finisher. What is it called, Brian?
It was called. Oh no. It was called the Canned Food Drive. It was a Canned Food Drive.
Yeah, so it is just a splash off the top. He hits Killer. No, not Killer Monkey. That's the next match. He hits Tiki Rilla. A lot of animals, man. Off the top rope and pins him for the 1, 2, 3.
There was one point during the match where he was trying to reach the rope.
Yeah.
Was that the next match?
Yes, that was the next match.
Okay.
we're getting confused. One thing I want to talk about, because you couldn't really hear them in the second match that we watched, but the announcers. I thought it was going to be a little bit over the top, but I feel like they
had to keep the energy flowing. Otherwise,
yes.
I think it would have been quiet. That's just how crowds are sometimes.
And they were actually very funny. It was very quippy. I'm a very big fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and that's sort of what it reminded me as of like watching sci-fi movies and just making like little stupid comments as things are going on. But no, they definitely keep the energy up. They also are allowed to sort of tell the story throughout the match, so the audience can stay engaged with it. So it's a very interesting concept, and something if they were for whatever reason, whatever to come to Chicago, I would definitely check them out.
Oh, yeah.
So moving on, the next match we watched was from 5 years prior. It was from a show called Kaiju Betrayal. It took place in Philadelphia, and it was American Beetle versus Killer Monkey.
No. It was worse than Killer Monkey. It was Hell Monkey.
Oh, God, Hell Monkey. Sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm getting all these names mixed up.
There's too many monkeys in this group.
Yeah, too many monkeys jumping on the bed, too many monkeys jumping in the ring. So American Beetle is like one of their more popular characters. He comes out in a blue beetle mask and stars and stripes tights, little horns all over the place, and then Hell Monkey comes out wearing like a pink mask and some scrubs.
He's drunk.
So that match does take place at a brewery. So obviously, Hell Monkey got into some booze before and almost passes out to start the match. Keeps falling over, but eventually gets his wits about him. The crowd's very behind American Beetle.
Yeah, he's the hero. He's the hero of the match.
Yes, that crowd was very well lubricated and very well behind American Beetle. So they sort of go back and forth, and eventually they come out of the ring. And then for whatever reason, maybe there's a bit behind it, but American Beetle grabs a yellow vortex football.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. And
so there's other characters around the ring. They're called the Minions, and they're wearing what I could only assume was the Riddler mask from the newest Batman movie, that sort of green. It looks like they got a trash bag over their face. He throws that vortex football into one of the bigger guys, who honestly takes a lot of the brunt of the punishment, because American Beetle also has a kendo stick, which is a very long, almost wooden sword, and just that
wails on him.
Yeah, like we talked about in the first episode, that Scottish TV broadcast. He's like, oh, there's bloodlust and Roman Coliseum. Like that crowd wanted people to get their wanted those minions to get their butt kicked by that wooden sword wielding American Beetle.
Yeah.
So, and they eventually go into the crowd, and then I don't know if it was played, but they went up on top of some platforms, and American Beetle does a jump.
That's right. That's right. Like he just climbs on these pallets and it just like jumps right into the group of minions.
Yeah, it was a real fun spot because you got the crowd all around him. The crowd goes absolutely insane for it. So no, they eventually make it back into the ring, and then we are introduced to another character who is called. We just talked about him. Double Unicorn Dark.
Yeah, Double Unicorn Dark. He had 2 horns. He had horns.
Yeah, so for those that don't know what Double Unicorn Dark looks like, he's wearing a full black leotard. I think that's what it's called. It's a full body suit with a motorcycle mask with 2 unicorn helmets on it. But the first thing Brian said out loud when we first saw him made me fall out of my chair because
I don't think he's wearing a dance belt.
Yeah, I know. So for those of you at home that don't know what a dance belt is, a dance belt effectively hides your thunder.
Your front thunder, not your back thunder.
Yeah.
You can definitely see his back thunder for sure.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I was like, man, that man is got. I do not have any sort of confidence.
He's got glutes for days.
Yeah, it was all up in there. But no, so if we're watching the match and then it just becomes a point of we're trying to figure it out. I'm like, is he wearing something? I'm like, we just keep staring at his crotch.
Why am I looking at it?
Maybe
why can't I take my eyes away from it?
So that's actually kind of funny you mentioned that, because Double Unicorn Dark comes out and then he hypnotizes American Beetle. So we were
with this giant like pocket watch that's made of cardboard.
Yeah, I know. So we were memorized by Double Unicorn Dark's horn. Yeah, and then American Beetle got hypnotized by a cardboard watch. So everybody was. So they make American Beetle. What do they do first?
They make him beat himself. He runs back and forth through the ring, hitting the the ropes.
Yeah, so he can't fight back, so they make him jump into a bunch of buildings and hurt himself. He runs back and forth from the ropes. They eventually punch him. He almost breaks out of the hypnosis and tries to fight back, but is eventually brought back into it. And then eventually, Hell Monkey gets the pin on a hypnotized American Beetle. And
I assume this is why it's called Kaiju Betrayal, because the bad guys won.
Yeah, Brian was very upset that American Beetle won.
I was so upset he didn't win. I was invested finally.
Yeah, I know. Like, wrestling fans get invested in like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Brian got invested in a beetle and a Kung Fu chicken noodle can. Like, these are the things that appeal to Brian.
These are my heroes.
Exactly. He's a real American hero.
He's a beetle.
Yeah, I know. He's a beetle.
There used to be 4 of them in the 60s and everybody got crazy, and I can get crazy about this one.
Yeah, Brian screaming like a little schoolgirl as American Beetle gets off a plane. Yeah, no. See Brian at Shea Stadium. So no. This is the Wrestling Without Context podcast. There was obviously a lot of story going on with this because that yellow. Power
Ranger Bear.
Bear Ranger was out there. Don't know why. I assume they're all a part of Dr. Cube's posse, and now is American Beetle a part of Dr. Cube's posse?
I hope not.
Yeah, I know, because he is hypnotized and gets let out of the ring by them.
I like it.
Yeah.
And Tiki Rilla showed up.
Oh yes, Tiki Rilla does show up with
Although he wasn't. This was about 5 years ago. He wasn't wearing his red hat and had his tiki torch.
Yes, he was not a patriotic primate at this point. He was letting American Beetle handle all that. So yeah, that about wraps it up for the match. So we watched this match, and when I first started this podcast, these were the things I was thinking about. Not necessarily this, because I kind of knew it existed, didn't know it existed, but like when you think of professional wrestling, you don't really think of this at all. But I love this is usually something I will show to a non-wrestling fan. It's like, see, wrestling can be fun. Wrestling can be ridiculous. It doesn't have to be this big dramatic manly soap opera. It could be funny and zany, and you can sort of have a lot of fun with it and not take itself so seriously, and so seriously. Like I said, I wanted to create a wrestling buffet for Brian, and like our good friend Justin says, if you don't like wrestling, look for what we call it late night wrestling, where it's like something you would go to like a 10 o'clock show in like the middle of some random place in Chicago, and then it's like, oh, this is amazing, and it'll have like its own little cult following, and like there was something like this that I distinctly remember. They were called Claw. It is the Chicago League of Lady Arm Wrestlers, and it was. I never saw them in person. Again, they were very popular on Instagram. They didn't last very long, but I thought it was a very unique concept. They had very interesting characters. It was based really around wrestling. The one that sort of caught my attention was the Macho Man Candy Savage, who is
amazing. That's such a good name.
Yeah, I know. So, a Macho Man sort of impersonator. Her manager was a piece of beef jerky, like a Slim Jim. So like snap into a Slim Jim like Macho Man. It was really clever. She would dance. She would like break dance off of the arm wrestling podium. It was a lot of fun. But it's like these little niche things that you can find in the city of Chicago, where it's like it's wrestling, what I call wrestling adjacent. It's not full on wrestling, but it's wrestling sort of has
It's
this
wrestling
tentacles.
culture.
Exactly, and everybody can find something that they like about it. So Brian, what did you think overall? You seem to have a lot of fun with it.
Man, it was just so much fun. It was like honestly, it felt like a mascot wrestling match, which was amazing. Like I would pay money to go see like college mascots fight each other.
Yeah.
And but I actually had a lot of fun.
Seeing the Ohio State Buckeye versus
the Buckeye versus the Hawkeye.
Yeah, I know. Sunday.
But I would go watch one of these matches.
Yes. So that'll do it for Kaiju Big Battel Wrestling.
Kaiju Big Battel!
All right, well, we're going to move into our next segment. Usually, for the past couple episodes, the only 3 episodes we've done, we've usually watched a video. But for this, I actually wanted to read something to Brian's. This is a Reddit post that popped up over WrestleMania, and it brings, I don't know how real this is. It feels very fake, but it's still a conversation I would like to have to you when it comes to fandom. So someone posted this in the subreddit relationship advice. So this is entitled she's a 26-year-old female. Her husband, 33, is obsessed with pro wrestling and it's ruining our marriage. Do I leave? So throwaway is my husband is on Reddit, which I don't believe. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. My husband was into pro wrestling as a kid, fell out of it, but over the last few years has eased back into it. I've never been a pro wrestling fan. I thought it was something that people watched as a kid and grew out of, but he has become obsessed and it's escalating to a point where I no longer feel comfortable. Apologies, I may not get all the terms right. I'm exposed to wrestling a lot, but I try to avoid watching it. It started harmless enough. He'd watch the pay-per-view events like WrestleMania. Then he started watching recaps of the weekly shows. Now he's glued to the couch every night. There's a live pro wrestling event. He watches multiple wrestling shows, not just WWE. He started spending money, a lot of money, on merchandise, t-shirts, hats, action figures, the fake belts. I was okay with this as it was nice to see his passion reignited for something. He's been in a rough spot with work lately, but now pro wrestling is the only thing he cares about. He yells at the TV like he's part of the crowd, cheering or booing when he's watching, and when he's not watching, he constantly shouts out their catchphrases randomly. He says things like "Yeet," acknowledge me, and "you can't see me." He actually gets irritated if I don't play along with him, like if I don't raise my hand when he says "acknowledge me." This past weekend was the worst of it. Those of you who know, it was WrestleMania. He asked me to refer to him as the final boss all weekend. I laughed it off and thought he was joking, but he wasn't. We actually got into an argument about it Saturday evening because he said I wasn't supporting him in the way he needs and that whenever we're watching wrestling, I look bored, disinterested. I look that way because I am. He's got to be watching 15 hours of wrestling a week easy. Jay Uso, she spells Jay Uso wrong, won at WrestleMania. He literally jumped on top of our couch waving his arms. It was embarrassing and I left the room. I don't want to say too much regarding our intimacy, but he's asked for a lot of role playing lately as well, and it has me very concerned. The thing he asked me to do and say make me super uncomfortable. It's all wrestling related. Things have taken a toll on me mentally. It's nonstop. He sends me memes like Roman Reigns and a bunch of other wrestlers. He talks like them, acts like them, and demands I participate in his little performances. Sunday night, the wrestler he wanted to win didn't win, and it's still affecting him today. His mood's sour and he seems depressed. I hate to admit it, but it's been kind of nice. He hasn't been as loud and noisy as usual. So Reddit, I need help. I just don't think I can deal with it anymore. He sings the wrestler songs, he does their sayings, he's got all their t-shirts, he even got tickets for us to the next show coming through in about 3 weeks, but I just don't think I can take it. So this is a woman talking about her marriage to a wrestling fanatic, and as I started reading it, I started laughing because I hadn't thought of it. I'm like, this could be my wife talking about me.
I honestly was gonna ask, how old is your wife?
Yeah, I know, exactly. So some people think this Reddit post is fake. There's like a little too much in it. Like they're like, I don't know, but I seemingly do know a lot. I actually did. I did some research on Reddit to see this is the only thing the person has posted, and it's also.
Account.
But their screen handle is DACO. Daco financial advice, and they have posted on a bunch of financial forums of like actual financial advices, so part of me thinks it is real, but like this is the only like wrestling related thing they've ever posted. So pivot yeah, we've kind of talked about this off air, maybe we talked about it on air, I can't really remember, but fandoms
Suck.
Yeah, but like I'm wondering if she's over. I mean, she's obviously not overreacting.
We might take different sides on this argument.
So there's something in the beginning. Obviously, it gets worse as you go out, like yelling and screaming at the TV and stuff like that. Like, but I will say some people like do that at actual sports, and it's deemed okay. Which I'm.
It's not okay.
Okay, but. We're in the minority then when it comes to that. I will say, because some people like you see those videos when a team loses. I always feel like they're fake, but like someone like kicks out a TV or something like that. So like fandoms in the beginning, because so Morgan and I, my wife and I, go through this where I've talked about it. Like she puts on anything period piece related or reality dating show, and I just kind of walk out of the room. And there are times where I put on wrestling and she goes, are we watching this? Like insinuating it's like we have time together. This is what you're choosing to do. And it's like, okay, like it, but it's like something that I really like. And so sometimes I feel a certain way when it's like, oh, you think I put context where there is no context of like, okay. Because like we also have these conversations. I'll see someone's like, man, that person has a big nose, and she'll be like, why did you call that person ugly? I'm like, did I say they were ugly? What, like, is their nose not big? Like, what are we? So it's like,
are y'all talking about me?
No. Brian, you look great. So. Oh god.
No, but sometimes you pull out context where maybe there wasn't any or something.
Exactly. Where it's like, are we watching this? In my brain goes, are you watching this ridiculous thing? Sure. It's almost like the tone of voice and stuff like that. And eventually it goes into like, again, the guy screaming, and eventually apparently the wrestling has now become his entire personality. And I honestly believe that this man is in a deep, dark, depressive hole where he is going out of his way to ignore reality, and wrestling is his only thing. And I think that's where I draw the line in fandom, is where people make your fandom your entire personality.
Sure. And when you impose your fandom on somebody else too, then
like when you want to do a podcast and you tell your friend, hey, I want to make you watch wrestling.
Yeah, honestly, sure. And if I would have been like, no big deal, you'd been like, okay, well then I guess I'm not going to do this podcast.
You're doing this podcast.
Opposed to this Redditor who's like, I'm uncomfortable in the bedroom because he's making me suplex him onto the floor. I don't know, but like,
Yeah,
like
keeping
there
it
has
PG.
to.
What do you think he asked her to do?
Oh, definitely a TDT double. What's the TDD? What's
The
the
D
one? The
the DDT.
DDT. He's totally looking for a sexy DDT.
Sexy DDT. Uh,
I still don't know what one is, but that's okay.
maybe one day we'll find out. Maybe one day we'll find out what that sexy DDT is.
Don't come at me, listeners. Don't come at me. Oh, gross. No, stop.
I left it out there. Oh God, you picked it right up and ran with it into the end zone. Thank you, Brian.
No, but there has to be a point where like you have to be a little bit self-aware of being like, hey, this is affecting my partner in such a situation here. Where like, sure, maybe your wife will put on a period piece and you'll walk out of the room. It's not like she's like, come back, you have to sit here and call me Mrs. Maisel or something. You know what I mean? Like this is like there's a little bit of a different. He's like, you must call me the final boss for a whole weekend. Like that's kind of weird, man. That is kind of weird.
Yeah. Again, like I don't know how much of that is real and how much is that is fake. I mean, they're married, so
so it's all fake. Then, yeah, I got you.
I don't know. Like, imagine being in a relationship with someone and like all of a sudden, like your personality just completely takes a 180.
That has to be hard.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
My Canadian girlfriend did that to me once, and now we're not seeing each other anymore, I guess. So,
my girlfriend who lives in Canada. Musical theater reference for us. We need to throw one in, at least one in a show.
But I can definitely see it being a toll on a relationship. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being a fan of something, as long as you have boundaries, I guess.
That is a wonderfully thoughtful moment from you, Brian.
Thanks. Sometimes I am a little coherent, and other times I am not.
Yes. Great work.
Thank you.
Nice. So that will conclude the segment, and we will go into our final segment of Who's That Wrestler?
Ooh, I have not seen a wrestler this week. I'm excited. So I did look at the Kaiju Graveyard, and there is an Irgernon that's in there. So Irgernon 1 died, and Irgernon 2 is still alive.
Now's the time in the show where I show Brian a photo of a wrestler. This is a photo of a wrestler that Brian has never seen before, because Brian has no frame of context. So Brian, who's this wrestler? Now, before you start, for those of you at home that can't see this photo I'm showing him, it is a very large individual with some motorcycle gloves. He's wearing a full singlet with some red sort of veins on it, and he's wearing this gigantic headpiece with horns and red eyes and what looks like a elephant snout. So, Brian, who's this wrestler?
He's the devil.
Yes.
He's Mephisto come to Earth to exact his revenge in the wrestling ring. What's he holding in his hand? Is that a clue?
That is a championship belt.
Oh, that's what those look like. Okay.
He was a very popular wrestler at the time.
So he's a winner.
Yeah, he was a very big winner.
Is he the Undertaker?
No, that is definitely not the Undertaker. That's my favorite part of these segments is going, is it this? No, definitely not.
Definitely not that.
Yes. Do you see what is coming from his shoulders?
Yeah, flame. Smoky.
Yeah, he has
Smoky Joe.
The Smoky Joe's. He's got some beef in there. Or he's got to come to Smoky Joe's barbecue.
We got the meat. I will flame it for you however you want. You bring it to me and I will cook it.
Yes, so there is some smoke coming from this gigantic headpiece. Any other guesses?
He looks like one of those soldiers from Fallout. Is he a Fallout soldier?
Oh yeah, the Brotherhood of Steel. That is a very good guess.
The Brotherhood of Steel?
No, definitely not.
Oh,
I want to see if you can actually figure out who this is. I'm going to show Brian another photo of this wrestler without the mask on.
Without the mask. I have to identify his real face.
So this is a photo of this wrestler. He is wearing a now black and red singlet on top and I'll call it a mask, but you can definitely see his face. It's got red sort of all over.
Can I just say, why do they make singlets like that? When I was wrestling in high school, I definitely had my nips covered. Like, what is it about having open nips for professional wrestling?
So this particular wrestler was kind of known for wearing his outfit backwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's backwards. Holy moly. And he pulled it all the way over his head, too. He's like giving himself his own wedgie.
Yeah, I know. Because that's definitely the seam in the middle of it right there. So, no, do you recognize him maybe from a 90s kids show?
I don't.
You were not a Boy Meets World fan?
I did watch Boy. Is that Eric? Is that Mr. Feeney right there?
Yeah, exactly. No, that is not. No, this is actually... I'll give you a hint. You figured out last time. His name is Star Wars related.
Vader. Luke.
Yes.
Luke Vader.
It's Vader.
It's Vader?
Yes. So
he was in Boy Meets World? Who was he in Boy Meets World?
He was Big Van Vader. If you remember Ethan Suplee's character, Frankie, he played his dad.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Yeah, so there's an episode where, for whatever reason, Corey is fighting with that group of kids, and he's like, oh, my dad can beat up your dad. And he comes in like as himself, but playing his dad. And he ends up
and Mingus beats up Corey. I remember this one.
Yeah, and then Mr. Feeney had him as a kid, basically, so he talks him down.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, for those of you at home, the photos I've been showing him are of Big Van Vader, also known as the Man Called Vader. He was
What's up with this mask? Why is he wear the mask?
Just makes him look
character choice.
Exactly, just makes him look all the more cool. He wrestled in America for a little bit in the '80s, and eventually he makes it over to Japan and wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling, where they introduce him as Big Van Vader with that mask. That piece that he's wearing, he eventually takes it off, puts it down in the middle of the floor, and it makes all those like steam noises and stuff like that. Okay. He is also known. There's a very famous particular Japanese wrestler. His name's Antonio Inoki, and Vader comes in. Inoki's like a national hero at this point. I'm trying to think of like the equvalent.
It's like Shinsuke right now.
No, like even bigger. Think of almost like a Michael Jordan. Antonio Inoki actually fought Muhammad Ali in like a legit first like MMA match.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a clusterfuck, but there's a book written about it. So no, like Inoki's well renowned. Vader comes in and just destroys him, like beats him up and pins him, and the crowd was so pissed off that they rioted.
Whoa, okay.
that the company New Japan was banned from the space that they were wrestling in from ever coming back for a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
So no, he eventually comes back to the States, wrestles in WCW. I'm sure we'll watch a match of his. He has some good matches with Ric Flair and Sting. Has a little bit of a run in WWF. It's nothing to write home about, and then goes back to Japan. But no, I figured it was a little fitting. The man that's big in Japan, all these kaijus that we're talking about, that we talk about, one of the most famous gaijins in professional wrestling history, Big Van Vader.
Heck yeah!
It's very natural.
Okay.
So that'll about do it for us over here at the Wrestling Without Context podcast. You can find us on some forms of social media. You can find us on Twitter. You can also find us on our YouTube page, where this is posted in its video format. You can also find this podcast in its audio format on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, or wherever else you would like to find your podcast. Please give us a follow, give us a like, come check us out. We're posting some fun stuff. Brian, anything before we leave today?
If y'all aren't watching the new series of Taskmaster, Jason Mantzoukas is on it. Give it a watch.
Yes, my wife does watch it, and is Greg Davies still on it?
Oh, he's the Taskmaster.
Well, I feel like they tried to do an American version of this.
Oh, they did a long time ago, and no, don't do.
Yeah, exactly. Like it didn't. It was his assistant, right? I can't remember his name.
Alex Horn came over and did it. It did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people forget it was Greg Davies.
It did not work over here, but yeah, the UK version is great. Also, shout out to the New Zealand and Australian versions. They're also really good.
Please join us on our next episode where we are actually going to be watching something modern for once. We are going to be watching the Hollywood ending match from AEW Revolution, the final match in the trilogy between Toni Storm and Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship.
Right.
So that'll do it for...
I'm sorry, I'm chiming in. I was just saying, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's come back again. This has been a lot of fun. So no, that'll about do us for over here. Brian, any final thoughts? Anything else before we leave?
Hit the ropes and bounce on back. That's what we say after every episode, I think. So
keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Brian doesn't know about suplex slams. He thinks a wrist lock is a boy band. Can't tell a moonsault from a flying knee. He's clueless about the ring's legacy. He called a steel cage a fancy shit. Said lucha masks are hats for your head. He thinks the Undertaker's just a grave guy. This poor dude's living a whistling lie. Brian doesn't know the ropes or the show. Tag teams and belts are all Greek to his soul. Every finisher he calls a weak spin move. Brian doesn't know he's got nothing to prove. Missed WrestleMania 4 and in class. Confused a pile driver with a chair to crash. He thought kayfabe was a type of pie. Stop pretending, kid, we all sigh.